All right. Fighter, 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 fighter. All right, so we also get to learn about the new weapon masteries while we go over the fighter stuff as well. Hello, Genie. Welcome in. All right, so obviously we have the fighting style. Whenever you gain a fighter level, you can replace the feat you chose with a different fighting style feat. That's pretty cool. I don't know if the old fighter had that, but I feel like that should be a fighter thing. I actually kind of feel like you should probably be able to replace your fighting style during a long rest. And then obviously as you level up, you can get multiple ones. But, you know, maybe at least the Battle Master should be able to. Because that's supposed to be like the whole thing, is like you've mastered all these different like styles of fighting. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So second wind, bonus action, regain hit points, 1d10 plus fighter level. Yep, pretty sure that's fine. When you reach certain, you get more uses of this. Yep, cool. Nothing new there. Oh, by the way, for anybody who may just be joining us who isn't already signed up for our Patreon, I just want to let you all know that we released our first free package today, our first sort of free content pack. All of our content is, or all of our magic item content is technically free because we put it out on like, you know, Tumblr and Threads and stuff like that. But we actually released the Oath of Protection Paladin for everyone today. So if you aren't already signed up on the free, as a free member on our Patreon, I urge you to do so. It costs you nothing, but it helps us. And if you go and do it right now, you will also get access to check out our Oath of Protection Paladin. Would love to know what people think about it. So, you know, go check it out and let us know. We also have a monk subclass that's going to be coming out soon, Gamer Gal, that Callie's nearly finished. All right, so weapon mastery. Your training with weapons allows you to use the mastery properties of 3 kinds of simpler martial weapons of your choice. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can practice weapon drills and change one of these weapon choices. Yeah, see? So kind of like that. Kind of like that. I think they should be able to do that with their fighting styles as well. When you reach certain fighter levels, you gain the ability to use the mastery properties of more weapons, as shown in the weapon mastery column of the table. Do we have a tier where you can make classes and subclasses and races for us, or just in general? Interesting, Gamer Gal. If that is something that you are interested in, like you think there would be interest in like making, because obviously we'll make magic items for you guys, like no problem, right? But subclasses and like species and stuff, that is a little bit more of a heavier lift. Let me talk to Callie about that, and we'll see about adding that to one of the tier lists where you can request that we make like specific subclasses or like race ideas for you. I really like that idea. That's really, really cool. In fact, let me mention that in the Cloaks and Capes chat so I don't forget about it. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, so weapon mastery. Can we check that out from here? There's no link to go check that out. Okay. Action surge. You can push yourself beyond blah, blah, blah. On your turn, you can take 1 additional action, except the magic action. Ooh, that's good. I actually like that they put that in there, because otherwise that could be some crazy, potential multi-classy type stuff, and this kind of makes it so that it stays within like the sort of fighter sub-realm. Heartless says, the weapon mastery, I feel it's all right, depends on them. I mean, well, and like, here's the thing. It's just something new, right? So they're literally just giving extra things to everyone. So it's not like anything like got nerfed or, destroyed or anything. It's just like, hey, here's some extra like cool things, which I enjoy, especially for rogues, not having to worry about finding, figuring out how the fuck am I going to get sneak attack on my turn. Plenty of ways to do it now. I think you're right, though. I do agree that it probably could have been better. I don't know how off the top of my head. But I have always thought that, like, weapons should have a little something else to them than just damage type. So we'll take a look at that at some point here. But just what they have just adding it, love it. Tactical mind. You have a mind for tactics on off the battlefield. When you fail an ability check, you can expend use of your second wind to push yourself towards success. Rather than regaining hit points, you roll 1d10, add the number rolled to the ability check, potentially turning it into a success. See, look, if you just came in the middle of a D&D game and you saw someone being like, oh, shoot, that fails. Oh, I'm going to roll my d10. And then they're like, yes, that succeeds. Someone would be like, oh, bardic inspiration? No, tactical mind. Bard needs more mechanics that give them an identity. If the check still fails, the use of second wind isn't expended. Okay, that's good. I don't know that I like that this uses your second wind uses. Oh, actually, never mind. Okay, hold on. They've actually given them more. Okay, that's fine then. Because it used to be that you only got 2 uses of second wind. So if your second wind uses go up, I think that's fine. That's cool. I like that change. You gain a fighter subclass. You're probably thinking of Indomitable, you're probably thinking of Indomitable, Lloyd. They used to have the ability Indomitable. Oh, it's down here. Yeah, we'll get to that. So they still have it. Maybe it's changed in some way, but we'll find out. Fighter subclass, ability score improvements, extra attack, tactical shift. Whenever you activate your second wind with a bonus action, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Awesome. See, this is what I like. This, to me, is what makes abilities, classes, and subclasses interesting, is when your abilities improve upon one another and they work with one another. To me, that also sort of demonstrates mechanically how your character is improving. They're not just getting new abilities, they're learning how to use their abilities in different and more complex ways. So I really like that. That's really, really cool. Whenever you attack with a weapon whose mastery property you can use, you can replace the property with push, sap, or slow. So push pushes them. Sap gives them disadvantage of their next attack roll. And slow reduces speed by 10 feet. Indomitable, if you fail a saving throw, you can re-roll it with a bonus equal to your fighter level. You must use the new roll, and you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. You can use it twice before a long rest, starting at 13, and 3 times. I also think I like this change. Like, that's kind of big, being able to add your level to it. When do we get that? What level do you get Indomitable at? Indomitable. So you get it at 9th level. So basically, when you get Indomitable, the lowest you're rolling on a saving throw is 1. And that's if you don't have any proficiency or any stats in it. So basically, Indomitable is no longer just like, oh, I hope that I pass this, even though I'm probably not gonna. Like, now Indomitable feels indomitable. Like, if you really need to pass something, you're probably going to with Indomitable unless you're just super, super unlucky. More attacks. Studied attacks. You study your opponents and learn from each attack you make. If you make an attack roll against a creature and miss, you have advantage on your next attack roll against the creature before the end of your next turn. If you make an attack roll against a creature and you miss, you have advantage on your next attack roll against that creature before the end of your next turn. Wow, that's really good. Especially, like, imagine you're attacking 4 times, right? Yeah, take the Pally Aura into consideration as well, Dolvik. Yeah. If you're next to a Paladin and you use Indomitable at level 9, and we assume they have, like, +5, at minimum, if you roll a natural 1, that's still a 15 on your saving throw. So basically, now with studied attacks, you swing, oh, it's a miss. Well, I have advantage now. You swing, let's say you still miss. Well, I have advantage now. Like, basically, if you miss, you have advantage on the next attack. Right? Because nothing in the way that it says this, like, it can only occur 1 time. If you make an attack roll against a creature and miss, you have advantage on your next attack roll against that creature before the end of your next turn. Yeah, that just keeps on going, basically. No, it doesn't stack to where... Well, I mean, advantage doesn't stack in general. So, like, if you swing... Like, if you attack... So basically what I'm saying is if you swing and you miss, well, now your next attack has advantage. But if you miss, you keep the advantage because you missed, which means your next attack roll has advantage. So you don't get, like, double advantage or triple advantage, but you would keep the advantage until you hit, because then it wouldn't activate it anymore. So if you missed advantage, now I hit. All right, my third attack is a straight roll, but if you miss again, then you have advantage again. That's really good. That's crazy. All right, moving into subclasses. Battle Master. So combat superiority, maneuvers. It's like an anti-Calicore mechanic, kinda. 3 maneuvers of your choice. You get your D8s. Get them back on short or long rests. Proficiency with a tool of your choice. 1 skill of your choice. As a bonus action, you can discern certain strengths and weaknesses of a creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You know whether that creature has any immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and if the creature has any, you know what they are. Once you use this feature, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. You can restore a use of this feature by expending 1 superiority dice. Once again, letting you use one of your resources to get things back. I like that. Superiority die becomes a D10. Once per turn, when you use maneuver, you can roll 1d8 and use the number rolled instead of expending a superiority dice. Ooh. Okay, so Relentless allows you to basically use maneuvers for free once per turn, but at reduced effectiveness. I like that as well. I like that. If there was a way that we could implement something similar to that, like for every class that has resources, that once your resources are gone, you just can't do your thing anymore, I really like that in concept. Superior die becomes a D12. Maneuver options. The maneuvers are presented here in alphabetical order. Are presented where? The maneuvers are not here. So the way that I'm doing it is I'm not going to make people choose between 5e or 5.5e. We're basically just going to do a combination of them. We're going to use what we like and what works for us, because everybody's already chosen what their subclasses are, right? Not all subclasses are in 5.5. So basically, check out your class and see what changes they've made to it. And if there's any of those changes that you want to use, we will use them. And if not, we won't. Why aren't maneuvers in here? Are they somewhere else? Nope. Okay, weird. The champion class. Improved criticals you get right off the rip. Remarkable athlete. Thanks to your athleticism, you have advantage on initiative rolls and athletics check. In addition, immediately after you score a critical hit, you can move up to your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Additional fighting styles, fine. Heroic warrior. The thrill of battle drives you toward victory. During combat, you can give yourself heroic inspiration. Whenever you start your turn without it, if you, a player, have heroic inspiration, you can expend it to re-roll any die immediately after rolling it, and you must use the new result. If you have heroic inspiration, or if you gain heroic inspiration but already have it, it's lost unless you give it to a player character who lacks it. So basically with Heroic Warrior, during combat, you can give yourself heroic inspiration whenever you start a turn. Okay, so basically Heroic Warrior, you always have inspiration. Like, you always have one use of inspiration, basically. You should always be using your inspiration on your turn as a champion fighter, because you're just going to get it back during your next turn in combat. It's basically just giving you... It's like giving you 1 luck per turn if you use it. So in combat, you always have 1 luck point every turn. Kind of crazy. Superior critical. You attain the pinnacle of resilience in battle, giving you these benefits. Defy death. Advantage on death saving throws. When you roll an 18 to 20 on a death saving throw, you gain the benefit of rolling a 20 on it. Heroic Rally. At the start of each of your turns, you regain hit points equal to 5 plus your con modifier if you are bloodied and have at least 1 hit point. So basically, if you get your Constitution up to 5, if you are bloodied, you get 10 hit points at the start of your turn. They've also brought the bloodied condition back officially. All right, Eldritch Knight. Isn't this the one that you played in Campaign 1, Lloyd? All right. Cantrips. 2 from the wizard list. Spell slots. So you get up to level 4 spell slots. You basically become a quartercaster, I think. Prepare a list of level 1 spells that are available. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability. Yeah, of course you can, Gamer Gal. Okay, so it looks like the number of spells that you prepare now is just tied to your level. Isn't that normally tied to like your ability modifier? Gamer Gal says, so as you might know, I've gotten to game develop it. I hate it and love it. I feel like all things worth loving are. Like, you also, like, there's also things about it that you hate. But that's why we keep doing it. War Bond. You learn a ritual that creates a magical bond between yourself and one weapon. You perform the ritual over the course of 1 hour. The weapon must be within your reach throughout the ritual, blah, 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 blah. Once you have bonded a weapon to yourself, you can't be disarmed of that weapon unless you have the incapacitated condition. If it is on the same plane of existence, you can summon that weapon as a bonus action, causing it to teleport instantly to your hand. You can have up to 2 bonded weapons, but you can summon only 1 at a time with a bonus action. If you attempt to bond with the third... All right, so basically, you are a Hexblade now. Yeah, I started with 1 first-level spell slot and ended with, like, 3 in Campaign 1. Well, now you will have way more spells. But if you want your spells, obviously, to be stronger, yeah, you'll have to basically go, like, Strength, Intelligence as your 2 main stats. So I'm wondering what you all like for magic. Like, spell slots or mana pool you can pull magic from. Items that let you use magic. Like, in any... so this is for, like, a video game, right? I mean, like, here's the thing. It's really just about how you're visualizing it. Because spell slots, like, are a mana pool when you think about it, right? Like, think about a game that's like, hey, you have 100 mana. You can cast Fireball for 5 mana. You can cast Fireball 2 for 10 mana. Is kind of the same as being like, you have 10 spell slots. Fire is a level 1 spell. It takes 1 spell slot. Fire 2 is a level 2 spell and takes level 2 spells. So, like, it's really just in how you sort of envision it. For the sake of ease, I think that how they traditionally do mana is probably the better way to do it, right? Where you just have a pool of stuff and you have... everything that you're going to cast has a certain type of value. Hey, what's going on, Toast and Waffles? Welcome in, welcome in. Sogrim saying, I'm more a fan of action point type systems. I can do X, Y, or Z, but only up to a set number of points. That's also nice for, like, keeping things simple, right? Where you don't have to necessarily work with big numbers. Maybe you can store up to 5 action points, and when you don't take as many actions in a turn, you get more of them back. All right, so yeah, so basically War Bond turns you into a Hexblade. War Magic, when you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of the attacks with the casting of a wizard cantrip that has a casting time of an action. That's great. That's a good one. I know that was another really shitty thing about being an Eldritch Knight before, is being like, well, I could take 3 attacks or cast 1 cantrip. The wizard cantrips are shitty, though. Are they? Oh, there's no Eldritch Knights spells? I think you failed your investigation check. When a creature makes an attack roll against you before the spell ends, the attacker subtracts 1d4 from the attack roll. See, this actually now gives things like Blade Ward a use, because you would never spend your entire action to cast Blade Ward, but now as a fighter, you might do attack, Blade Ward. Booming Blade is a cantrip that you can use. What's Elementalism? Create one of the following effects within range. Green Flame Blade. Infestation. No, there's all sorts of good cantrips that you can use. The issue was, Lloyd, is before you had to forego all of your attacks to do a spell that you weren't great at because your intelligence wasn't as good as your strength. But now they're setting you up to be able to do both. Eldritch Strike. You learn how to make your weapon strikes undercut a creature's ability to withstand your spells. Ooh, here you go. When you hit a creature with an attack using a weapon, that creature has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against a spell you cast before the end of your next turn. See, this is what I'm talking about. Allowing your abilities to work in tandem with one another. So now you would hit, cast a spell, maybe hit again after that as well, depending on how many attacks you have. Eldritch Knight is way better now. When you use your action surge, you can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. You can teleport before or after the additional action. That's pretty good. Improved War Magic. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace 2 of the attacks with the casting of one of your level 1 or level 2 wizard spells. Wait. When you take the attack action on your turn. Okay, so now you can basically do sub 1 attack for a cantrip or sub 2 attacks for a level 1 or a level 2 spell. I wonder if there's any rule, like, based on the rules as written, if you have enough attacks in your attack action, could you attack cantrip level 1 or level 2 spell? Anyway, Eldritch Knight, much better. Much better. The Psi Warrior. You harbor a wellspring of psionic energy within yourself. It is represented by your psionic energy dice, which fuel powers you have from this subclass. The Psi Warrior energy dice table shows the die size and the number of dice you have. Up to having a D12 12 times. Ooh. Any feature in this subclass that uses psionic energy die use only the dice from this subclass. Some of your powers expend the energy die as specified, and you can't use a power if it requires you to use die when all of your die are expended. You regain expended dice on a short or long rest. Protective Field. When you or another creature you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can take a reaction to expend 1 die, roll it, reduce the damage taken by the number rolled, plus your intelligence modifier as you create a momentary shield of telekinetic force. That's very cool. I like that. So basically, at high levels, you're looking at potentially reducing damage by 17. Everyone, look who's here. Hello, Weird Beard. Look at this little kitty. Look at this little kitty. Look at this little kitty. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. What are you being so cute for? What you looking for? You want to go play with my dice? Surprised you're not biting me. Usually you struggle. Did you actually want love today? You can propel your weapons with psionic force. Once on each of your turns, immediately after you hit a target within 30 feet of yourself with an attack and deal damage to it with a weapon, you can expend a psionic energy die, dealing force damage to the target equal to the number rolled. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Ah. Go on, get down there. All right, so basically this just lets you add extra damage onto your attacks. Ooh, so actually the Psi Warrior might work well as a ranged a ranged attacker as well in that case. Telekinetic movement, you can move an object or a creature with your mind. As a magic action, choose one target you can see within 30 feet of you. The target must be a loose object that is large or smaller. Must be a loose object that is large or smaller, or one willing creature other than you. You transport the target up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Alternatively, if the target is a tiny object, you can transport it to or from your hand. Once you take this action, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest unless you expend a psionic energy die. No action required to restore your use of it. Okay. So this, maybe not necessarily used in combat, though you could. Yeah. It's a Jedi Force action right there. Pretty much. So whenever something requires an action, Dolvik, it is now denoted on whether it is a magic action. So such as casting a spell, using a magic item, or a magical feature. It's just a new thing, a new, I guess, label to certain actions. I assume the reason why is to sort of better label when something might be affected by like a counterspell, a dispel, anti-magic field, stuff like that. So yeah, all of that is really cool. I like all of that. Nope, you can't do that. It has to be one willing creature. Large or smaller, the Eldritch Horror is probably going to be a massive creature. You get all that at level 3. Oh, actually, hold on. What levels are these at? Fighter subclass 3, 7, 10, 15, 18. Telekinetic Adept. Psi-powered leap. As a bonus action, you gain a fly speed equal to twice your speed until the end of the current turn. Once you take this bonus action, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest, unless you expend a psionic energy die to restore your use of it. Telekinetic Thrust. When you deal damage to a target with your psionic strike, you can force the target to make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, you can give the target the prone condition or transport it up to 10 feet horizontally. That's really cool. Guarded Mind. You're resistant to psychic damage. If you start your turn with the charmed or frightened condition, you can expend a psionic energy die and end every effect on yourself, giving you those conditions. Bulwark Force. You can shield yourself and others with telekinetic force as a bonus action. You can choose creatures, including yourself, within 30 feet of you, up to a number of creatures equal to your intelligence modifier. Each of those creatures has half cover for 1 minute, which gives them a +2 bonus to AC and dexterity saving throws, or until you have the incapacitated condition. That's kind of crazy, giving everybody +2 AC and dexterity for 1 minute. And then, you can use it once for free, and then using your psionic energy die after that. And I mean, chucking them up into the air, it would only be, 1d6 of damage anyway. But being able to move them in any direction is really nice. You always have the telekinesis spell prepared. With this feature, you can cast it without a spell slot or components, and your spellcasting ability is intelligence. On each of your turns, while you maintain concentration on it, including the turn when you cast it, you can make one attack with a weapon as a bonus action. So basically, hey, Moogle Go Round Radio, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everybody. We're checking out some of the classes in the new Player's Handbook that just released, and making magic items for them as well. So obviously, just having access to telekinesis is a pretty cool thing. But now, while you're maintaining concentration on it, on subsequent turns, while you maintain concentration, you now have a 5th attack. Right? Hold on. Telekinetic Master. Okay, no. At level 20, you would have a 5th attack. Overall, I think all of these are pretty good. I think Champion is probably, in my opinion, maybe not the weakest, because obviously it can crit on like an 18 through 20, and the Heroic Inspiration is really, really, really good. It doesn't feel as fun as the other ones, I think. But all of these are pretty good. Wait, sorry, maintaining it takes your action? No, what? Does it? On each of your turns, while you maintain concentration on it, including the turn you cast it, some spells and other effects require concentration to remain active as specified in their descriptions. If the effect's creator loses concentration, the effect ends. The effect has a maximum duration. The effect's description specifies how long the creator can concentrate on it, up to 1 minute, 1 hour, or some other duration. The creator can end concentration at any time, no action required. Following factors break concentration. Another concentration effect. Damage. You gain the ability to move and manipulate creatures or objects by thought. When you cast the spell, and as a magic action on your turn before the spell ends, you exert your will. Can affect the same target round after round, or choose a new one at any time. If you switch targets, the prior target is no longer affected by the spell. You can try to move a huge or smaller creature. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw. Right. You can try to move. That isn't being one or carried. You automatically move it. Well, so if you're using it, yes, you could technically put telekinesis up and then not use it to, like, exert force on things, and then you have 5 attacks essentially. You could just use that bonus action as... Wait, hold on. On each of your turns, while you maintain concentration, you can make 1 attack with a weapon as a bonus action. So yeah, obviously if you're casting telekinesis to telekinesis something, sure, you have to use your magic action. But if you're not going to do that, like let's say that you open... Let's say you have the jump on a enemy, right? Everyone has time to prepare. You could start the battle by casting telekinesis on something, and let's say throwing it off of a cliff or something, or like pulling it off of, let's say, a balcony. Here you go. Perfect example of how it would be super, super cool to use. BBEG is up on a balcony giving his speech. Telekinesis, pull him off the balcony. If it works, he hits the ground. You bonus action attack him. Everybody else comes in, blah, 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 attacking him. On your turn now, you're maintaining concentration on telekinesis, so you can use your action to make all of your attacks and then use your bonus action to make another attack. Which is still pretty good.